Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today for yet another DeepCamp session where we have our next startup and a very young entrepreneur, Nikhil, from Ultrainstinct. Uh, Nick, hey, hi Nikhil.
Hey, hi Ankit.
Hi. So just to set the ground, so Nikhil is the second startup who was selected in the first cohort of DeepCamp, and he comes with a very strong background of data science and AI. He has worked in under the CTO's innovation team in Wipro after graduating from IIT Roorkee about just over 5 years back, and was working quite extensively on the drone automation. Post that, he was working with ZS Associates, and he founded Ultra Instinct in 2020. Great to have you here, Nikhil. I hope everything is great at your end.
Yeah, thanks Ankit. Thanks for the humble introduction. And it's great to introduce our startup here and share the insights from DeepCamp.
Hey, thank you so much, Nikhil. Great to have you. So, Nikhil, to start off, uh, uh, most of the startups that I have interacted with has a story behind it as to why they started their
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
So, what was your inspiration behind starting your company, Ultra Instinct?
Yeah, so Ankit, physical security should be our fundamental right, and I think people should own their security, right? And it should not be a luxury for few. And this has been my biggest motivation, and this is what trying to do a bit at Alta Instinct. And I still remember in back in 2018, so a close relative of mine shop was robbed, and they had a loss of around 35 to 40 lakh. And even though they had CCTV cameras and even hardware sensors to alert them, but they were unsuccessful at all, right? And this was like a eureka moment for me, that what if we could use those CCTV cameras to alert the user in real time about the event, right? And then for I think for 1 year I refined this idea. I talked to a lot of people about it, and even potential clients, that what are the problems they are facing right now, and what are the alternatives there in the market. And I think that's how I got started on this.
That is really sad to hear about your family's business getting robbed. And definitely, I have seen your solution, and definitely a solution like yours is something which is the need of the hour now, and definitely can solve a lot of problem with real-time alerting to the users. And
Yeah.
not and as I see, Nikhil, not just in the small business segment, but has a lot of uh, implementation in the corporate area as well, in the
Yes.
organized business as well.
Yes.
So, for our audience, Nikhil, can you tell us about a little about your Ultrainstinct solution, and what do you do with your video analytics solution? How do you prevent burglary and shopliftings?
Yeah, sure, Ankit. So if you look, pilferage and shoplifting by customers and even workers are very common affair these days. And even a small, not small, I would say, the modern retail nowadays have around 2 lakh of losses just due to shoplifting by customers or even their workers. And if you look, even the last mile delivery centers and fulfillment centers, their losses might shoot up to 5 lakh, right? And robbery is a monthly affair for an e-commerce giant these days, a very common now. So, and if you look at the alternatives, they are mainly rule-based system or motion-based system that are not at all reliable. So at Ultra Instinct, we try to identify the human action, right? What they are doing. Let's say for picking the item and putting into backpack, for an example, or let's say, they are entering into a very uncommon manner and trying to break in into the locks or the shutter. Then we, using this feature, we alert the user that this is happening at your premise, right? And this happens in very real time. And if you see the impact, they are able to save their 60% of the cost. And if you look, even modern retail, they have cut neck, the profit margins are very low, right? And they're able to increase their profit margin to 15%. Also, we also have facial recognition, so identify the repeat offenders. So they account for 60% of the crime that happens, right? So plus we use the existing hardware that is already present in the premise. And just within few clicks they are able to identify the local CCTV cameras that are there, and able to enable all these analytics from our dashboard via themselves even.
That is really interesting because you're not only solving a great problem, but you're also making it easy for the end user to implement it and possibly do it themselves, DIY kind of a setup. Uh, and just to add, Nikhil, I can imagine of a situation where uh, uh, in a country like US, where a shoplifting is a huge problem, but
Exactly.
people do get away with that because the retailers do not want lawsuits against them. I feel this is a great solution for which fits into the larger context of things as well globally, not just in India.
Exactly.
Yeah. So so for our audience, if anyone has any questions or any query, please feel free to drop in a note in the comment section, and we'll take those questions up towards the end of the conversation. So Nikhil, what attracted you to DeepCamp? What was it that really made you apply to DeepCamp in the first place?
Yeah, so I knew Affine from my college itself. A lot of my seniors
Yeah.
from IIT Roorkee are working in Affine, and I have got very good feedback from in terms of Affine work culture and all. And then I got to know about DeepCamp about it, and it's Affine is already a very big name in high-end analytics, and have a lot of experience in terms of AI, right? And also they just not tech, they know the B2B know-how, and they know this domain so well. So this was no doubt that what kind of mentorship that will get from Deep Camp, and I think this has proven to be correct.
That's really great to know, Nikhil, from you. Uh, so, how has your journey been so far, right from applying to DeepCamp till now? Because you have interacted with most of our mentors
Yeah.
till now. So how has your journey been till now?
To be in one word, very excellent. From the even from interview process we started getting the feedback that what we have to
Mhm.
do. And so I still remember the first session that was there with Manas, and it created a very positive vibe and energy into us as a founders, and my other founders, and we were very positive that what kind that road ahead is very great. And there were sessions as we move on even each of the business development unit in terms of sales and marketing, and in top of AI. So a fine touch, I would say each and every the things that a startup might face, and they need to fine tune it over the time, right? So let's say go to market, and find how to approach this, how to optimize your sales process, how to generate leads. I would say that you guys touch everything. So the journey was very fruitful, and we got a lot of insights that we thought like we might not we are doing very great into it, but there were still room for improvement over there. And I think, yeah, it was excellent.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Nikhil. And I think that was the entire philosophy of DeepCamp, and I can proudly say that yes, we have been able to achieve what we wanted because being a founder myself prior to joining Affine, and I understand that how much what kind of pain that the startups have, and the entire program was built in a manner. And I'm really glad to know that we have been able to help the startups who have come here, not just in the mentorship, but also during the interview process. So really great to know that, Nikhil. So Nikhil, just out of curiosity, what was that one great advice, if you can pinpoint on that one great advice that you received from any of the mentors in Deep Camp till now?
Okay, so this is very interesting question. So whenever we went to the product to someone, right? So they were pointing out, might you might need to improve your go to market, right? But what exactly we need to improve, we were still figuring it out. That okay, we have done many tweaks into our go to market, but still it no need improvement. But when we joined DeepCamp, with the kind of the mentorship that we got, and from into the go to market, and we were able to fine tune our go to market a lot. And now I think it's very great. And even you will agree that we had a lot of to and fro into the go to market, and we are able to improve that a lot, right?
Got it. So definitely go to market is one thing which is one of the most complicated problem to solve, not just for the startup, but even for bigger organizations, because getting your go to market right, the getting the market fit right is one of the most complex thing.
Exactly.
So really great to know that yes, this is one place where you guys have been able to get that thing right. And I hope with the number of conversations that you guys are already having with multiple clients, uh, these things will improve even further. And
Exactly.
hope you get some of these clients getting converted into paying clients now.
Yeah.
So one another aspect of being a startup founder and managing this is funding. I understand that this is a most talked about topic, and people are running after funding left, right, and center. So so how have you guys been able to manage to reach to a stage now? Because it's been almost what 1.5, 2 years that you have been running this company.
Yeah.
Even you guys are doing POCs with multiple corporates. But how have you been able to manage the funding still now?
So when we started, we were completely bootstrapped. The funding that we had from my savings and my co-founders, we created a pool and then we invested, right? And we were from starting, we were just on lean and mean philosophy, that even if we are putting some one penny somewhere, we should have that return, right? And still we are running on that. And we were fortunate enough to generate revenues like just after we had our product developed. And so that was one fortunate thing for us. And right now we got a grant under Startup India from Derby, and we are now incubated by them. Plus, I would say, as also suggested in deep camp, I would not run after funding, and I'll concentrate more on focusing on the product and gaining more traction, and the funding aspect will follow, right? But still, we are looking for a few angel investors that might get on board and have more direction in terms of security into us. And yeah, and plus I think Affine's contact will also help us a lot, as a planned demo day will be coming, right?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, quite a few investors have already shown interest in your profile,
Yeah.
and we are already in discussion with them. So a lot of work is going on in the back end.
Yeah.
So Nikhil, every startup founder always has an aspiration, right? That this is where I really want to be.
Yeah.
What is that aspiration for you?
So yeah, so I want to totally disrupt the security space. If it's totally run by hardware, I would say mafias right now. And so we want
Mhm.
to enable the existing hardware that is there and get it to the we want to enable the ultra instinct in 500 million cameras, and using those and we want to save a lot of save $1 billion of medium to small enterprise and large enterprises, and probably save lives if we go on, right? And using ultra instinct, you can also own your security and stop crime before it happens, right? So this is what I think we are looking for.
Awesome, awesome. But just you just mentioned an interesting word, enable, not replace.
Yeah.
So I am assuming that that is one of your unique selling proposition,
Exactly.
that you're not trying to replace any existing system, but you're trying to enable using the existing system. So can you tell us a little about that, please?
Yeah, sure. So it took us around 3 to 4 months. We created software in house, right? So you can either have this in this small type of setup. You can just click on LAN, and all your automatically or your CCTV cameras will be detected, and you can connect all those cameras, enable all those analytics via directly on those cameras. And this has been our biggest advantage. And we tried a lot of things, right, that are there in the market, even DDNS, and even though, and when we went, so this was a funny story. When we went to the client, that failed. That was the initial thing, right? And that happens. You will have some failures, you will have some learnings, and then you build upon it and you do it. But then we build the current software that is still running on thousands of cameras, cross brands, cross networks, inside and out, and doesn't matter, right? So this has been our biggest advantage, and we have developed before it, right? So yeah.
So interesting. So what I understand is that your system can hook on to any CCTV camera infrastructure which is available by in the business, whether it is online or not, whether it is IP enabled or not. Your system can still take care of it.
Correct. It can be private network, it can be in your surrounding, it can be
Mhm.
public, it can be anywhere.
That is, I think that is something that is really great because I remember when we were discussing about your company during the before the entire thing started. This is one thing that was actually highlighted by one of our jury members, that this is a problem that a lot of people have tried solving but have failed. And I think you have been able to crack that one important thing, which I think one of the CTOs of a large logistic company also had highlighted some time back with
Yes.
us in a call, right? So I think that's a great interest. That's a awesome thing that you have been able to crack now, and getting into businesses and implementing it would definitely become very easy for you now.
Correct. So I remember the companies, right? The people we were doing POC. So the first issues that they had, the companies will ask to replace their CCTV cameras to smart cameras so that they can enable, and that will cost you just 1 lakh, and on the top of it, subscription cost, right? So
Right.
the cost is huge, the capex is huge. But for us, it's a zero investment philosophy, and just enable, and you guys just get on a subscription model, and boom, you're done.
I think this is an approach which is something which is bound to be successful because uh, there is no additional capex involved at any point of time, and I think that is a huge advantage for any business in their business model.
Yeah.
So one last question, Nikhil, is what is the best part of running your own company? You have been into job for about 5 years, 4 5 years. So how does it feel? How is it different now?
So it's a lot different. The best part, I would say, seeing the client satisfied and seeing the your product that you have done so much hardware over the time, right? Over the past 2 years, all the research, getting successful at the client location, and he gives you very positive feedback. Yes, this is quite nice, and that is the most satisfactory part, I would say. And the other part is you get to learn a lot. So there was a exponential curve when you enter and you take on responsibilities. So tech is one, but other domain as well, in terms of sales, in terms of marketing, even in terms of negotiations, right? So you need to have each of the skills. You might not have each of the skills on the day one, and that's fine, but the main thing is to develop and learn over the time, and have that philosophy that you are open to learn. That is very important, right? That is a very,
Absolutely.
very, very good part of running a business.
That is really great, and I think any techie listening out to this conversation today, this is a great thing that Nikhil mentioned, that running a business is not just about building that tech, but you also have to look about various other aspects of business and continuously learning. Nobody knows everything. We learn on the job and improvise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Nikhil, what lies ahead for you? What's the next step for you from here after Deep Camp? Apart from finding more clients, I know that's definitely a goal for any startup. But what's ahead for you?
Yeah, so next 4 months is just traction and gaining trust in the customers, the current that we have. And the other stream that we are focusing on is building our channel partners, so the hardware providers, the security vendors, so that we can extend our reach exponentially. And they are already very trusted into the market, right? So we are reaching out to them, talking to them, and running few POCs, and what domain they are working. So basically talking to them, and it gives us a deeper understanding about their issues as well, what they are doing. So that this is the next thing. And after that, the next milestone will be just to have the product, have to test and very polished out of, right? And that's what we're trying to achieve over the next 6 months. And once that is done, we want to extend our offering to the US markets.
Great, great. And as Affine, we would love to partner, Nikhil. And as already we have already been helping you reach out to the clients, and we will keep doing that, not just in India, but in US and other geographies as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Nikhil, for joining this session and sharing your thoughts. And I wish you all the best in your journey.
Thank
Uh,
you.
for our audience, just a quick recap of what DeepCamp is. So DeepCamp is a startup accelerator that Affine had launched last year, and we are right now running our first cohort. Uh, we have all the details mentioned on our website affine.ai, and very soon we would also be coming up with more on DeepCamp. Stay tuned. Keep checking our website. There will be updates on that. So yeah. So thank you, Nikhil. Thank you everyone for joining in, and have a good weekend ahead.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you.